guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Office Bloke Dance.
Together in a room, we make the Office Blokes.
We do.
Yeah.
It's a true factual statement.
That's correct, Dave.
We are mooting playing basketball again, aren't we, at some point?
We are. Definitely.
See if we can improve on the last shit show.
Well,
Yeah, we weren't great, were we really? But
I think it was the environment we were in.
yeah, the court wasn't regulation.
It wasn't. No,
it's
no
a bit of a
nets on the no nets on the ring.
yeah, we need a proper
Or the
court,
hoop.
don't we?
Yeah.
Proper hoop,
Yeah,
backboard.
there was also no give in the ring, was there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, way up.
It was just a rock solid piece of metal, so it just dinged off
Yeah.
every
What
time.
are they normally?
There's a little bit of give, isn't there?
How is it?
Yeah.
Right. Never really noticed.
Yeah. Well, you've never
think it was
dunked like
I
me,
think
to
it
be
was a
honest.
pretty
mate.
shit. I think it was a shit court we were on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's
I
box
think we have
standard
to
one, isn't it?
upgrade the aesthetics of what we're going to play on and play
Yeah.
on a proper court.
Plus,
Yeah,
the
it's
ball
gotta
wasn't pumped up to regulation,
No.
PSI.
Yeah, I
or-
think I noticed that actually when
Yeah.
I was there. Yo.
Yeah, and also I had a GoPro there, which was weighing me down. So
Put you off balance.
Yeah.
Well, it would do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but at some point we're going to go and play basketball again and make a video out of it.
And
And
we'll be shit on the proper court this time.
yeah, there'll be no excuses.
Yeah.
Then. We'll fake injury at the beginning of the video. Anyway, so that was a half segue to this. The giant kid who could change the NBA forever, from Jimmy High Roller.
How old's this video, Dave?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
July.
Right, okay. So it's a
Is this-
recent thing.
I'm assuming this is someone that's just going to be really, really, really tall.
Like freakishly tall, but there's
They
already
all are in
7
the
foot
NBA,
odd
aren't they?
players, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say they're all big, aren't they?
And we've already had although he didn't play in the NBA, the 500-pound guy that we
Yeah.
reacted to the other day.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm interested to find out
So
though.
am I.
So let's see what this is about. The giant kid who could change the NBA forever. Let's do it.
The best prospect I personally ever evaluated
Is a once-in-a-lifetime type of talent.
It's really not fair. One kid can have so much talent.
Simply put, he's a generational talent, described as literally one of the best NBA prospects ever.
He's a unicorn.
People don't talk about him like he's a future all-star. They start the conversation with future MVP.
That's some pretty high praise for an 18-year-old who hadn't even played an NBA game yet. Except these remarks are not about LeBron. All of these comments are about the 2023 draft prospect, Victor Wembanyama, a player who scouts are saying might just be the best NBA prospect of all time. Except there's just one thing scouts are forgetting. Today's video is sponsored by Keeps. Keeps is a subscription-based service that focuses on making it easier and
So what do you
more
think
affordable for men
is,
to treat their
When he was showing them, I'm thinking,
Keeps
that's LeBron James.
offers clinically
Yeah,
proven
it was,
research-based
yeah.
Is that why you were
treatment
gonna pause it?
for
Yeah.
symptoms
So he
of
classes
hair
the best
loss.
ever, do you think?
Each user
Uh,
receives a
well, it's-
personalized treatment plan fit
Or one off.
specifically-
It's sorry, mate, I can't concentrate when that's going
Yeah.
on. He's it's opinion based, isn't it? With,
course
all
it
kinds
is.
of sport.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna have their own favourites, but for me, Kobe, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Steph Curry.
Pick from one of those.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
There's never one answer to that question,
No.
is there? In any
There's
sport?
never his best players.
most
I
sport,
think there's
yeah.
always other people that've got a difference of opinion
Yeah,
or
yeah.
there's loads of different facets that can go into it. Who was playing in the teams at the time, what
Yeah.
they've won.
Yeah.
You know,
especially team sports. It's very
it's difficult, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
one of our best players ever was George Best, but he played for Northern Ireland, so
Yeah.
World Cup wise,
Yeah.
didn't get looking,
That's
so
right.
he'd never won a World Cup or anything.
Ryan Giggs, same.
Same, absolutely, yeah.
Gareth
Same
Bale.
Yeah, there's been lots of players like
Alan
that.
Bayer will be playing in the World Cup this year.
Not
Oh,
gonna,
yeah?
win, not gonna
Yeah.
win it
Giggs
though,
never-
are they?
Giggs never played in the World Cup.
Oh, did he never play
That's
at
true.
all?
No.
Oh wow. Fair enough. He's busy with his brother's wife, wasn't he?
And punching other women around the head.
Allegedly.
Question. Off the top of your head, who is the best player in NBA history 7 feet 3 inches or taller? Yao Ming, Ralph Sampson, Rick Smits, maybe Arvydas Sabonis? I'm sure a few names come to mind, but only a few. And that's because even in a league full of giants, there just hasn't been many players this tall. In fact, throughout the NBA's 75-year history, there have only been 26 players who were 7 feet 3 inches or
7'6",
taller.
7'7".
Of those
Wow.
26 players, only 3 of them are currently in the NBA, and only 3 others made the Basketball Hall of Fame. See, despite size and length being one of the most valuable assets in the game of basketball, there is such thing as being too tall for the game. At what point does a player have too much height?
Jeez.
Well, if history tells us anything, it's that the threshold is about 7'1". I know, it's a rather specific number, but time and time again, we are shown that anyone above 7'1" is bound to have significant, if not career-ending injuries and health issues due to their incredible size.
Yeah.
Its height is
imagine.
linked to a shortened lifespan, you know.
It is, well, I think the tallest man in the world ever, is it Robert Waldorf or something like that? I think he was, I can't remember, was he in his 50s, something like 40s, 50s when he died?
Don't know.
I think he was, what was that? I'm not sure if it's a Chinese guy who overtook him for being the
Right.
tallest human being ever. But
Think about the pressure their knees are under, NBA players, and you've got someone that's like 7 foot.
yeah, he had legs on his back and stuff like that. He had big problems with it, I think.
Just
But-
goes pop.
yeah.
You know, Basketball Hall of Fame by height. You look at number of Hall of Famers there. Look at 6'10", 6'11". Sorry, 6'9" and 6'11".
Yeah.
Still quite a lot.
Yeah, there's a link there.
Yeah.
You know, but then
Yeah,
you go
hell of a
down,
lot.
obviously 7'6", only 1 or 2 players, I guess.
Yeah.
Out of these 26 players, really only about 7 of them went on to have notable careers. And of those 7 players, 5 of them either missed entire seasons due to injuries or had to retire due to injuries. You'd actually have a hard time finding more than a few players who were taller than 7'1" who didn't have careers plagued by injuries. There seems to be a specific limit to how big a player can be before their size quickly becomes a debilitating detriment. And I say all of this for one reason. This kid, 7'3", 18-year-old Victor Wembanyama, a player that possesses all the physical tools and skills to be a once-in-a-generation talent, but may just be too tall for his own good. Victor is already being anointed as the best NBA prospect since LeBron James 20 years ago, which sounds like a massive reach until you watch the kid play. See, over the last few decades, we've witnessed some of the all-time greatest NBA prospects get drafted. The kind of talent that has teams scrambling to lose as many games as possible to get. Shaq in 1992, Tim Duncan in 1997, LeBron James in 2003, and Anthony Davis in 2012. With talent of this caliber, there's never really any debate as to who's going #1 overall. In fact, in some cases, if these prospects were available for the draft sooner, they would have gone first overall before they were even eligible. Ron Artest is on record saying LeBron could have played in the NBA by the time he was just 15 years old. Former NBA player and longtime NBA exec Danny Ainge said, "There are only 4 or 5 players in the NBA that I wouldn't trade to get LeBron right now." This was back in 2002, when LeBron was a 17-year-old high school junior.
Wow.
Of course, not all ultra-elite NBA prospects are ready to make the jump right away. A few years ago, Marvin Bagley was far and away the best recruit in the class of 2018. So to expedite his journey to the NBA, he reclassified to the class of 2017, and was still the #1 recruit in the country. But despite his glaring talents and NBA readiness at such a young age, he has yet to make a real impact at the NBA level. Because no matter how incredible a young prospect is, in the world of sports, there is no such thing as a guarantee. But rarely, maybe once or twice in a decade, a prospect comes along and nearly reaches that unattainable status. The 2023 NBA draft will feature one of these generational prospects in Victor Wembanyama. Victor has been in the spotlight for quite a while now. And not even 24 hours after the 2022 NBA draft, attention already began to shift to next year's draft and the ultimate prize, the 2023 NBA draft, informally being labeled as the Wembanyama Sweepstakes. By now, most of y'all have probably heard of Victor or seen clips of him playing. The first thing that stands out is his absurd height and length. 7 feet 3 inches tall, with a 7 foot 10 inch wingspan. For some perspective, here's 6 foot 4 inch 2022 NBA draftee Jaden Ivey. Here's 7 foot 1 inch Chet Holmgren. And over here is Victor Wembanyama,
Wow.
making Chet look like an undersized shooting guard.
It's crazy, that, isn't it?
Yeah. He's got.
Wow.
You mentioned further down there Kevin Durant. Remember we were watching a video a couple of weeks ago, and I said Kevin Durant doesn't look. Looks like he's wrong. His shape looks wrong.
Yeah,
Remember
I
saying
remember
his
you
legs
saying
look
that,
too long
yeah.
for his body or something.
Yeah.
He's got the same sort of like shape.
Yeah, I get what you
Just
mean.
looks too long for his body.
Yeah.
So this kid's French.
You know, I'm guessing so. He's got France on his shirt.
Yeah, playing for
Yeah.
the France,
Yeah.
because we were talking about upcoming talent for
Europe,
NFL, for
for NFL,
example,
yeah.
being
Yeah.
able to. But I suppose maybe there's more basketball infrastructure
There's a lot
in
top
other
basketball
countries.
players.
I would have
outside
thought
of
more
the
than
Europe.
a lot more than
Yeah.
American football.
Some
I
of,
guess.
some of the top players in the NBA are European
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
at the moment.
It's a hell of
Gianni's one of them.
Yeah, true.
I know he's half European, but he was, I think his parents from Nigeria, aren't they?
It's definitely a lot more established, isn't it?
Yeah.
Basketball in Europe than American football, without a doubt.
It's a hell of a lot of pressure to put on young shoulders, isn't it? If everyone's already touting him as like the best pick ever and once in a generation talent.
Yeah.
And what is he, 17? Did they say?
Yeah. You see the kid in the middle there. What was he, 6'11" or something? 6'10" was he or something? He looks like a little kid.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Bigger, much bigger than all of us.
Yeah, no, that make us look like proper like.
Imagine being that tall walking into a room and you're like that, and someone even taller. Come on.
Can you imagine being that tall? It must be proper awkward.
Oh, I bet it is. Yeah.
You know, the first time a 6'10" guy meets a 7'3" guy, he goes, "What's the weather like up there, mate?" Everyone says it to him.
But many scouts and onlookers have said that Victor isn't 7'3". He's actually closer to 7'5", which just sounds like a bunch of speculation. But you see this guy right here? This is Zach Eady. Zach's official listed height is 7'4", and Victor is a giant. But his incredible stature isn't nearly what makes him a potentially generational talent. It's what he does with it. Quick feet, even quicker hands, agility that is visually startling for a player of his size. Despite being a skyscraper, he can take defenders off the dribble with an explosive first step or use an arsenal of moves to create separation in ISO situations. The kid is 7'3" and can create shots for himself anywhere on the court. Similar to Kevin Durant, his high release on his jump shots makes them virtually unguardable. Although he's not nearly the outside shooter Durant is. But he does have an inside game far beyond his years, where he uses a variety of combinations involving spin moves, pump fakes, and fadeaways, which keeps the defense in a constant state of gambling, like a perpetual game of choose your poison. Ultimately, at the moment, his strengths are in the open floor and on defense. With his speed, quick reaction, and size, Victor is virtually an automatic bucket in transition. He has the situational awareness and athleticism to create transition opportunities out of thin air. And on defense, he already possesses world-class instincts and timing, and his insane length allows him to seemingly be in two places on the court at once. However, Victor, just like every other prospect that came before him, does have his weaknesses. But all of these weaknesses are things that, with the right development, can be solved. His slim frame, his shoddy decision-making at times, gambling on defense and relying on his length to make up for it, the usual weaknesses of most young mega-talents. But none of that matters, because Victor isn't just the presumable #1 overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft. He's the draft pick of the decade. According to SB Nation's Ricky O'Donnell, the last prospect this big, this fluid, and this comfortable with the ball in his hands might be a young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. One anonymous NBA scout said, Victor can be Gobert defensively, Porzingis offensively, with Jokic-like passing skills. Another NBA scout said, when you see something you've never seen before, it can feel like your eyes are playing tricks on you. And many other scouts shared this same opinion, most of them struggling to even come up with an appropriate comp for Wembanyama. Since, quite frankly, there's never been a player like him in the history of the NBA. Last summer, Victor faced off against Chet Holmgren during the U19 FIBA World Cup final. And despite Victor being a year younger than Chet, one NBA scout said, "Never have I seen Chet Holmgren overshadowed physically like he was last year whenever the two met." Just off of sheer potential, Victor is one of the most sought-after prospects we've ever seen. But there's just one small catch these scouts are missing. Actually, it's one massive 7'3" catch.
Jesus.
Victor's too damn tall. As we previously touched on, the history of extremely tall and sustainably great big men is very short. No matter how talented a freakishly tall player is, no matter how enticing their physical tools are, at a certain point, all that height will eventually become a detriment to their game and their longevity. This trend of injury-prone ultra big men has become so prevalent that it isn't the exception, it's practically the rule. Believe it or not, there are only 5 active NBA players who are taller than 7 feet, and of these 5 players, only 3 of them are taller than 7'2". Kristaps Porzingis being easily the most talented of the 3. But outside of an injury-riddled Porzingis, who is the last player taller than 7'1" that made a real impact in the NBA? Stop, don't even bother trying to come up with an answer. It's Yao Ming, who had his last all-star caliber season nearly 15 years ago. Which means that this century has featured 2 2 players, 7 feet 2 inches or taller, who played at an elite level, and both of them have had their careers derailed due to injuries. It's virtually inevitable. Since the 2000 NBA draft, here are the percentages of games missed from lottery picks sorted by height. Throughout these 3 height ranges, there seems to be no correlating factor between height and injury. Generally speaking, players ranging from below 6 feet all the way up to 6'11" experience injuries at a very similar frequency. But lottery picks from 7 feet to 7'1" have missed 26.2% of all their potential NBA games. This is a staggering amount. Now,
Do you think? So do you think he's essentially doomed to not have longevity in his career, or do you think he could maybe bulk
Sounds
up
like it,
and
doesn't it?
physio and?
I don't think it's
Well,
a case of
medicine-
bulking up, is it?
Well, medicine and sports science and all that is different nowadays. It's advancing
Yeah.
very rapidly, isn't it? So he's probably got more of a chance than somebody who may have been playing in like the 70s or 80s.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you know what I always
yeah.
find with sport and basketball, right? This is something that kind of like plays on my mind sometimes when I think about different sports. And we played sport, growing up, and we didn't play basketball or NFL or anything like that, but you know what it's about,
Yeah.
right? And I watch basketball, and the hoop's high, right? And the idea is to get it in the hoop. So being tall is quite an advantage, but you don't necessarily have to be tall to play it.
No.
You don't necessarily have to be able to dunk, right? So you don't. It's not like a prerequisite that you've got to be 6'6" or over, although it will help,
Yeah.
right? But all the top players are quite tall. You get the exceptions.
Yeah.
But you look at like English soccer, for example, all the players, you get small, tall. You
Yeah.
never see a midget. Do you?
Is that a
You never
joke?
see, no.
You never see a midget in basketball.
In any
Is that
sport.
the point you're making?
In any sport. Yeah, really. Apart from
No.
midget throwing.
And bowling with Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah.
Um,
But even at golf, you don't see them. You don't know. There's no like.
I mean, the
But you-
physical.
I think it's having
Sports-
physical strength sometimes, though, isn't it? And
Oh, they've got strength, mate.
and mobility.
Proper strong.
yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the differentiation in strength is just that. The gap is so wide.
Yeah.
You know, like you're never going to be able to hit a ball in golf anywhere near as far without a wider swing, I presume.
But you don't always have to hit the ball far in golf.
That's true.
Mm.
But then the people who can hit the ball far can also putt really well, so they've got both advantages over the person.
Yeah.
I'd imagine. I don't know
Not
much
really.
about
Par
golf.
3. If you play a par 3, you're on the green. It's you get 3 shots to put it in. You should be putting it in 2.
Are you
really.
saying we should
Yeah.
have little person golf?
No, I'm just thinking. It's you don't see them in any sport.
Yeah.
Paralympics.
Yeah, but they're not. Are they classified?
I
as
don't
that?
know.
Huh.
I
Well, I
don't
think
know.
they are. Yeah, because I
I
mean,
think
that's
they
what,
may be.
that's what Ellie Simmons is in, isn't it? The swimmer.
Yeah,
You know, that's how she's become sort of famous and gets on telly now.
I
And
think the disparity is just too much in the physical ability that you couldn't have a
it's like
once in a lifetime talent who
You don't
can
even-
compete against anyone.
Okay, you don't even have just like smaller people anywhere, like 5'6", 5'5". I mean, I know you've got Messi in football and things like
Yeah.
that, but he's not that small.
Yeah.
But I think you've got people like Daniel Podence. He's quite small, isn't he? I think he's about 5'4".
So
the
it-
guy
so
from,
he-
Wolves,
from Brighton,
Wolves, or like Tariq Lamptey.
Type Lamptey, yeah.
So are you saying like here where there's a potential height cut off? There's probably a height cut off.
But you never see a jockey. You never see a jockey who's like 6'4".
No, you don't. His feet would be on the ground.
I know. Yeah, I'll leg it with the horse. He'd probably be able to get
Horse would
traction
be on
going.
his shoulders,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
Would add another height range of 7'2" and above, but there just hasn't been enough NBA prospects in that height range. The last time a player that tall was selected with a lottery pick in the NBA draft was Kristaps Porzingis in 2015. Before Kristaps, you have to go back to 2009 when the Memphis Grizzlies drafted 7'3" Hasheem Thabeet with the 2nd overall pick. 1 spot ahead of James Harden, 5 spots ahead of Stephen Curry, and 7 spots ahead of DeMar DeRozan. Hasheem stayed relatively healthy but spent 5 seasons bouncing around to numerous teams and finished his career with averages of just 2 points and 2 rebounds on 10 minutes per game. But believe it or not, Hasheem Thabeet actually holds an NBA record for the tallest and highest drafted player to ever be sent down to the D-League. I swear I'm not making that up. That's a real fact. And to find the next absurdly tall lottery pick, you have to go all the way back to the 2002 NBA draft, when the Houston Rockets drafted Yao Ming with the #1 overall pick, who, to my estimation, is the greatest player over 7 feet 2 inches in NBA history. To this day, Yao Ming is criminally underrated. The only thing bigger than he was were the standards put upon him coming into the NBA, and he lived up to that standard. But unfortunately, the height that made him an unstoppable force on the court was also the cause of his retirement smack dab in the middle of his prime at the age of 30. Finding a young, talented player with this much size is a feat in its own right. Finding a young player with this much size with the expectation that he has a long and healthy career would be nothing short of a miracle. To say the odds are stacked against this young man would be an understatement. We've just rarely seen any player pull it off. But that's the thing. Victor isn't like any other player. He can protect the paint like Gobert, create offense like Porzingis, run the floor like Giannis, and pass like Arvydas, all in one package. With a talent like this, teams will gladly take all the risk for a shot at the ultimate reward. If he can stay healthy, Wembanyama has the opportunity and the skills to be a player unlike anything the NBA has ever seen. So with that being said, let the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes begin.
That's a great video.
Interesting, that. Yeah.
Who did he get drafted by? I didn't say, did it?
He's in the 2023 draft.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. So not yet.
Right.
That'd be something to look forward to that next year.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting, that.
Hope he can stay healthy.
Yeah, you want to see talent that come through like that. That's a great channel, by the way, that Jimmy High Road.
It is really good.
So amazingly done and edited.
You get great information from there, don't you?
Yeah.
Really informative, isn't it?
Yeah,
really, very much so. Especially certainly for me and David, novices anyway. Or I am anyway.
Yeah, I'm same with NBA. I don't really know.
Exactly the same.
Aiden's
Yeah.
a specialist in NBA in our house. He's
yeah, of course.
I get a lot of information from him. He's big into it.
I think it's like I said before, sports science has come forward so much over the years. You're hoping that they can get the right information, the right physio and stuff going forward that can sort of like negate some of the injuries that they may get.
They're allowed to use stem cells in America as well, aren't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just in certain states or what, but they're outright. I think they're banned in Europe.
Yeah,
for because I know they can help sort of reconstruct ligament damage and things like that. Allegedly,
right, okay. Yeah.
So
there's that many games in the NBA season. I'm not sure how big the rosters are on the squads, but if you can sort of like pick and choose a player to play in certain games and not all games, and try and sort of like extend his career, they're in different ways without,
You'd have to be on the right team to justify that, wouldn't you? Because if he's losing every game, he's not in.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, they're just going to batter him just every
He'll be on
game.
a big wage as well, won't he? He'll have a huge contract, so I guess.
I hope he's got his knees insured for tens of millions. That's for sure.
Sure, they will. Yeah,
they definitely have everything like that. Yeah, no danger. But yeah, it's interesting.
He looks a prospect, doesn't he?
Keep an eye on that. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.